Hello everyone, my name's Brian, that's my brother Adam, and we are the Factional Fight Brothers. It's a brand new year, and a brand new year in Wurm. A lot has happened in the game this last year, and we already got our first news post. So let's dive in, talk about Wurm, talk about the year that was, and talk about the opportunities that this year brings to Wurm Online. Let's do it. Alright, we're back. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you Adam for joining. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
We've definitely been playing a lot more Wurm since the break. We were playing a bunch. Managed to do a whole lot of stuff in the Labyrinth. I just kind of want to show it off. We did a lot of completion and polish, I guess you could say. We kind of, like, I know we announced that we finished the Labyrinth, which is a big deal in the sense that we finished all of the puzzles. We built and completed it.
You can think of it as like finishing the first draft of it, and now we have to go edit it and just make sure everything's like just right. And there's a couple of things that we need to add, but
it's like polish, just so much polish that we have to do, and we've been doing it slowly and polish, not just like adding furniture, but I also have to create all of the story to it. So I created a bunch of, I don't know, signs, and I've been laying them out, and I want to get the story down, but then I also want to get people through it. I think we're just about ready now that we could have people going through it as sort of like a beta to see how hard it really is to people that never really been here.
One thing that we did mention that we might be doing was a walkthrough of the Labyrinth, and we did start that process. And through that process, I'm walking around the Labyrinth, and Brian here is following me and laughing at me the whole way. And
so
the whole purpose of it is for us to, obviously to have a video for people who get stuck in the Labyrinth, or for people who want to, experience the Labyrinth without actually coming, or just to have a walkthrough. And so, but the other purpose of it is so that we can learn a lot of stuff.
And the stuff that I learned,
where the little traps are and stuff.
The stuff that I learned was there was a lot of places in the Labyrinth that I left open so that I could get to areas that you're not really supposed to get to. And I forgot about a couple of them and just kind of left them there. So since then, I've closed them off and made it a lot more secure, that's for sure. The second thing was, you alluded that we wanted to have some kind of exit. So this Labyrinth is much bigger than we've ever created before. So by the time you get to the city,
this point,
by the time you get to the place where I'm standing, so you make it through here, you finally get to this area, and you're going into the city. You might be thinking, I want out. Like I need a way out of here, because you're kind of trapped. And if we don't give you a way out of here, there's still a good, I don't know, how long do you think, like an hour or 2 hours that you could be here?
Yeah, probably an hour to 2 hours if you are devoted to getting through the Labyrinth.
Yeah. So Adam definitely thought, while we were recording his escapade through the city, that why don't we give them a way out? Why don't we give an emergency exit? If you have to leave, go this way. This will boot you out of the Labyrinth. And so we thought about it, and there's really not a lot of places that we can do.
Now, another thing to consider, and we thought about this, was that we didn't think that there needed to be one in the first half of the Labyrinth, because the thing about the first part of the Labyrinth is that there are so many ways that lead you right back to the beginning.
Yeah, which actually, so something happened. So I thought somebody came here, and they, like, this is the first thing they see is the Williams household, and they went into it, I guess, and they fell down through this door, and they fell into like the area in front of the labyrinth. Now, the thing is that initially I didn't want people to fall. I wanted there to be a bridge that you would like kind of gracefully come down into that area, but I couldn't figure out a way to do that because of the way that we built this area. It was just like a big hole, a big like gradual bowl essentially. So I had to make them fall, and I've locked the door at the bottom so that you can't leave. So you're essentially stuck in that whole area if you come in. And I believe that person had to get like a GM or somebody to get them out. they were stuck. So I'm like, I really got to do something about that. So we needed an emergency exit right at the beginning, or for anybody that decides they want to do the labyrinth, they try to make it through here and they can't do it, so they end up back at the beginning. So I built this building here, which I called it "I'm scared, let me out," and it's essentially just a one by one 2-story high building that allows you to get out. You go up the ladder, and then it just boots you out to the front. And that's similar to what we want to do here. So if you get to this point, which I would assume you've already spent at least an hour trying to get here, at least.
Right.
I'm not. I'd like to lower that amount
by giving clues and
clues, and I'd like to learn what is stopping people from finishing the labyrinth faster, so that I can provide the correct clues. So that's what I'd like to do when people come here for the first few times, and I can catch them on and see what they're thinking.
Get a couple beta testers.
Yeah. So anyway, emergency exit. There's no emergency exits that I can see leading out to the south. Like it's all puzzle in that direction, and there's no way for a person to really get over there. So there's a couple places to the north. Now the only problem is,
now you said a couple, but I'm looking over this way.
I say a couple, and
you really mean just one.
There's really just one. Like, this is all, we can't really change this. There's like a hill back here, so there's no way to build a house or anything that would allow them to be a one-way exit. If you go this way, there's no way for a person to get past here. So really, if you go under here, so this door is going to be locked. There's nothing really in there. It's part of the whole puzzle. This is open. And if you go this way, so this will be locked. That's also part of the puzzle. You could, and I was thinking about this, so I destroyed this wall. And I thought, okay, if I destroy this wall, we could... we can have this door locked. We don't need to have this...
Well, the door would have to be locked, because otherwise somebody can
it's already locked. It's already locked.
Into this spot, yeah.
Yeah, it's already locked. So you could climb up here.
Okay.
And then we change this wall to a door. Now, by doing that, we would have to also put a wall here.
Right.
And then we would have to replace this one with this floor with a ladder as well.
Oh, I see.
Because this is supposed to be part of the puzzle. We're just shifting the puzzle over to here.
I see. Okay.
Now, I don't know if we have enough mortar for this.
Right.
I was told that we don't have any mortar, that we thought we were completely done, and we didn't need anything, so we don't have any mortar, and we had barely any clay. So what do we need? So we would have to complete 1, 2, 3 walls on this floor, so that's 60 mortar.
Mm-hmm.
and bricks. On the top, we would have to complete 2 more, so that's 5. Do we have enough for that? 5, which be 100 mortar?
Okay.
What do you
Well,
think?
when I heard of this clay and mortar shortage, I went out and got a whole bunch of clay. Not a whole lot, but enough, I think, to do what we need to do
I
here.
mean, we have to make...
Yeah, we need to make it.
Okay.
So here we go. We're going to start
Nice.
the show by making some more mortar. Haven't we
There we
been here
go.
before?
Yeah. Except now we're closer to the end, I think.
Yeah.
So what do I need? I have somewhere
A fast
some
clay.
fast. Here's a clay. Clay with 95 WOA. It's just sitting in my bag.
Yeah.
And I would take... How do I do this? I take, let's say... Can I take... Let's just start with 50, I guess.
And I guess we're going to need to put some signs down to like let people know that this is the way out if they want to get out.
Yeah.
Now, this is another thing that we noticed when we were going through the labyrinth, and that is you're going to get hurt coming through here. There's a lot of places where you have to fall.
That is correct. Nope.
A lot of that had to,
Yeah, go ahead.
a lot of that had to do with that's one of the main ways that you can make one-way paths. You know, is that you have to fall into some place and then you won't be able to get back.
Now, a lot of the time, I thought you weren't going to get hurt, so I made a lot of falls from one story to another story, only to learn later that they changed the distance. They made it more dynamic, I guess. They made it so if you are overweight, you'll damage more. If you're like lighter on your feet, you won't damage as much.
Let's see.
So maybe if you bring a
perfect
character...
This is a perfect opportunity to restate one of our suggestions that we had a while ago, and that is add the skill safe fall.
That is right. We need a safe fall so that you can learn how to not damage yourself falling from one story.
Yeah.
And maybe even more.
Just
who knows?
Damage yourself less. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I would love to have that. But while we're doing this, another year has passed. And I believe it was Retrograde that created a nice little post that talked about everything that was put into the game in 2017. And it was pretty lengthy. I forgot about some of the stuff, or at least didn't realize that it came this year. I won't list everything. You can always just go to the forums, go into City Hall. You can see the post. The post was called 2017 in Review. It was... it's great to just look at it and see what they added. A couple things that they were saying here. The wide tunnel entrances.
I haven't even built a wide tunnel entrance yet.
Yeah, there hasn't been a need here, but that sounds awesome. I've gone through a couple of them, so I don't know how they affect boats. I haven't been through one that they did a boat with. Does that because it's just wider, it's not like taller? I don't know if it makes a difference.
Well, I know that boats were made to go through tunnels much easier a long while ago with the new collision system, and I guess they must have made it so that it's just as seamless. That's my guess.
I hope so. The other thing, they added all of the new wall textures. So
yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, all of the textures, marble, pottery, like all that stuff was this year. There was 5 of them.
Yeah, and then shortly after, the bridges got them.
The bridges got them. The fences got them. Like all this stuff got them. Can you list all? Can you list all 5?
Sandstone, pottery, rounded stone, rendered.
Did you say? Did you say sandstone?
Slate. I didn't say
and
slate.
slate. That's right. So
Yeah.
that was insane. I think they said at the time that it was like 100 and something new textures, 100 and something new
Yeah.
types of walls. I don't know if that was just the walls, and then they added the fences later. They
Well,
first
there's
said
also the
they added the bridges, and then they said, "Oh, we're not going to be able to add the fences. Like there's like we reached our cap." And then like within the month, they're like, "Oh, we got a new cap. We can go. We can we can include fences." And then all of a sudden, that was in the game. So what else did they added the almanac? So a way for us to keep to figure out when the harvest seasons are, I believe.
Right. And I think
Within
with
the
that,
game.
they also, or maybe I'm thinking of the cooking update, but there was like a bunch of new, what's it called? A bunch of new trees and stuff. I guess that would have been before 2017. Now that I think about it. But I
Yeah,
guess
think
with
it was.
there was like some shifts in when things, because
That
they
was the
added
cooking update or something, right?
oranges. Yeah. So because of the shift, it made it so that it was harder to predict when things were, or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the almanac was a great addition because it allowed people to then in game figure out when things are in season.
That's true. Then they added the ability to put bridges into mines. I thought that was
the best.
Yeah, that was huge, and it happened at almost the perfect moment for us when we were building
Right.
the underground portion of the labyrinth here, the second part of the labyrinth. We're just like, will change our design. This will make our design so much different, and it was.
I remember when they announced that. Yeah, I remember when they announced that, and that was like probably the most mind-blowing thing for me when they announced that. My jaw just dropped to the floor.
Mines. You love just living in them.
Yeah.
Okay, they added the highway system along with the wagoner. So, and that was more recent. So the wagoner, the ability to ship crates to other areas of the world, which debatably, I don't know, how have people taken that? I think it's been pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I enjoyed doing it on the last episode.
Right, and we're going to need to do it a lot more when we're cleaning up this place.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, if we wanted to hire someone to do this for us, I don't think anybody would.
Right.
I don't think that there's just anybody around that will be like, yeah, I'll jump in and do it for you. I'll just come here and
can you move these 250 crates halfway across Xanadu for us, please?
I don't know. It just I could see
how many
people
wagon
starting.
like how many wagon trips would that take?
Yeah,
like
that would take like a month. I don't know. It would take a long time. But
yeah,
this helps us a lot, like specifically.
You know what I'd like. One thing is that you can only send crates through it. So, things like, for example, you had just made today a rare statue while you were making statues to decorate this place. Yes. And I was thinking, if we wanted to sell it, we would still need to either deliver it or have somebody pick it up. Like, you couldn't send this through the wagoner system or through the mail. Like, there's still a bunch of items in the game where you can't send remotely to other people. And I'd like to see the wagoner expand to allow for most every item, like forges and, kilns and all those sorts of things, be able to be sent through the wagoner. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would enjoy it. I can't see any problems with that other than people saying that it would it really take away people's opportunities to do it themselves?
You know what? Over the time that we've been playing, so many people have tried to start up like shipping companies, middlemen where they would come pick up the goods and go deliver them and get paid, a small cut. I've never seen one though that sort of was successful and kept afloat. Like they always would start up and
listen. It was either somebody that did it on the water. So they'd be like, as long as you're on, as long as I can come to you by boat, I will deliver it. But it was never like a guy that would go inland. And the problem with a lot of our deeds, they were always inland. I think the majority of our deeds, or at least half of them,
At least half, yeah.
have been inland. And when you get to that point, like the Labyrinth, people are less willing to come to you.
Right.
Further
we had a
inland.
hard time.
Yeah.
We had a hard time figuring out delivery to this place.
Yep. So, with, of course, the Wagoner was the highway system. And I think after the whole... Okay, initially people were kind of, wondering whether they like it or not. I think at first there was a big backlash. It was just like, okay, we shouldn't have this kind of automated type of system. Then there was a backlash on how it looked. So the cat's eyes, they're sticking out of the ground. Yeah, I wouldn't mind them being like a little sunken into the ground more, but whatever. They're there.
Yeah.
They work and they're functional. And then of course we got the highway system, and it is now in the game. People have embraced it enough that it is everywhere that you possibly could go. We've added it to our deed here. We figured out how it works.
Yep.
And we did all that stuff. What are your
Still need to
thoughts
add
on
the
it
other deed.
now? Now that we kind of know what it is and how it functions.
Oh,
What are your
I
thoughts?
love it. I love it. I mean, it makes traveling a lot easier, but not, super easy. I think what it took away was the tediousness of flipping to like a web browser map and trying to get your bearings and trying to like figure stuff out that way.
Yeah.
I think it makes exploring a lot easier, but at the same time, exploring is still a lot dangerous. And
Well,
it keeps you in the game as well.
Exploring, and here's the thing. So we would be using, let's say, the browser to like a map on a browser that shows some deeds that may or may not still be there, and we would be traveling through the game even when we first started, and we'd be using those deeds as a mark on the land or whatever. And there's always signs that you're there. Now it's sort of taken our exploration out of the game, or into the game, I should say, and
Into
out
the
of a
game,
browser.
yeah. Right.
But you're technically doing the same thing.
Right.
We're still planting signs down, just different kinds of signs for those waypoints.
And also the signs are like dynamic, so they'll change depending on whether or not the deed is gone. If the deed falls, then the deed is removed from the sign automatically. Whereas the way it used to be is that there'd be signs all over the place saying, go this way to this deed and that way to that deed, but the deeds are no longer there. And the signs are planted, so there's no way of removing them.
So I don't know. I feel like there's a give or take, and I still feel like it's done in a way that allows the players to control the system, right? What we don't want to see is having the game or the developers control the system, and I think they've done a good job in giving the players the power to build their own system that allows an interconnected world. So it works. The system they thought of works. I never would have thought of that, which is great.
Recently I took a horse from here all the way back to our old deed, and it was great. Like, it helped a lot to use this highway system. It felt a lot shorter.
That's good
to me. Yeah.
So I was wondering if it was going to feel shorter.
The tediousness and the getting lost and that stuff away.
Even after you've done it so many times, you still got lost before.
Oh, it's such a long trip. There's so many opportunities for you to get lost, especially when you put on auto run and you just turn your head away and you look back and you're like, wait, where am I? Can easily get lost that way.
That's funny. Yeah, so
Should we?
highway systems in the game. Um,
Let's start by bashing. Do you have something to bash this, or should
I
I just use
do.
my maul? Okay,
Which one are you looking at?
just the floor. We'll
Oh,
replace.
okay.
We do the ladder. Make sure that's in place before putting up walls all over the place. And these should just be regular walls, eh? Or do you want to make them windows?
Yeah, I can do regular walls.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, where is my? Here it is. You know what I did? I went to find a large mall because I needed to bash something, and I finally found one. Came
Okay.
around, started bashing stuff. Maybe like a week later, I was wondering why I was so heavy, and I realized that I had another large mall inside of my tools group. So now I'm just carrying around two large malls for no reason. Even after I found that out, I just continued carrying both the large malls. And that was like a month ago, so don't
That's
know
funny.
why.
You know, after reading that post about what the review of 2017, I noticed a bunch of stuff missing. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that I remember being added that they completely didn't put
Are
in
you
there.
sure it wasn't the year before?
I mean, it could have been, but like for example, we had a video recently about mining, the mining update.
Yeah.
So the mining update where they changed the mining speeds of everybody, and
That is true.
I feel like that was in 2017, but that wasn't put there. A couple others I thought of, but I can't I can't think of them at the moment.
Let's build a ladder. That works.
Which just goes to show, like, the amount of development
Oh.
that they do in a game is just in this game is just insane.
That's
Considering
true.
the size of their team.
No, it's true, and we're not even done. Like, the fact that this year also brought that new client that gave us all that new rendering stuff, the shadows and like all this stuff, and that it will allow us them to continue forward with giving us new features like the whole wood system and I don't know, so many other things that the new client gives us. But just
Yeah,
for
they're
now,
Yeah.
the way the game looks because of 2017 is completely different than the way that the game looked anytime before then.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a big deal. So, and we're just kind of glossing over that fact, which I think is funny. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite things. And I mean, the list keeps going. This is the year that they added all of the different kind of racks that we gave, BSB racks and crate racks, and like all these different kind of racks.
Right.
This is the year that they added archaeology and restoration. This is the year that they added saddlebags, which came recently. This is the year they brought back tree collision, which
also wasn't put on this list here.
But if you notice in the post that it was actually called tree, where is it?
They mentioned shrinking the olive and chestnut trees.
Ah.
But they didn't mention tree collision.
They didn't mention tree collision. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the year they brought back tree collision, which is, I think at the time when they were bringing it back, like I said, I love the fact that they did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was definitely looking forward to it. This is the year they brought back, or they brought the Hellhorse colors, the siege weapon overhauls.
You know, I haven't really seen the Hellhorse colors, really.
Yeah, we haven't even looked into that. The unicorn gear, you could have gear on unicorns, and it would show up. Blessed lamp functionality on highways. we haven't even looked into or touched.
Right.
Pendulums now find traders.
What is the bless lamp functionality? Is it that you bless a lamp and then it like works
Probably.
the same as it does on Deed, like where it doesn't use fuel and doesn't decay and that sort of stuff?
That would be awesome if it did.
Mm. We haven't looked into it yet, so
Yeah, it's just stuff that we haven't needed to look into because we've been trapped on this labyrinth for so long.
Are we ready to add this wall here?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna add the wall.
And while we do that, I am going to start destroying this wall over here.
Okay.
I believe this... It's been kind of a great year for Wurm. Just a ton of stuff that complements the things that they added in the year before. And they've mentioned a bunch of stuff since then that they believe they were going to be working on in 2018, or at least the beginning of 2018. At the end of the 2017 in review post, he teased us with the wood textures and the fact that there's you're going to be able to dye only certain parts of the boats.
Right.
Now, this is what he actually wrote. He said, the work will continue, with work continuing on animal crates. Well, we can't forget about that. Returning wood textures, and lots more. So then he made another post.
Where is that?
It was the first ever Valerie International. It was essentially a bunch of stuff that is coming to the game either shortly or sometime in the future. So we wanted to talk a little bit about this. The first thing that they talked about was he made a post, and I remember us specifically talking about this in 2015 when we said, okay, finally they're going to allow us to dig dirt and have it drop on the floor, and we couldn't wait for it to come into the game.
Right.
We must have made a video, and then now he puts a little quote of himself saying that in 2015.
Single door here?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Pottery
Yeah,
door.
I love that. The quote comes from 2015.
That was hilarious.
I remember when they mentioned that, and at the time, a lot of people were like, finally, why hasn't it happened like yet? And apparently at the time it had been in Wurm Unlimited for like so long.
He said, nevertheless, I'm for real this time. After a few delays, like mysterious, something was holding it back, or just too many other stuff was happening that made them forget about it for a while, or have it just sit in the back burner. But
yeah,
so that's coming back, and I think all we can say is that we can't wait again for that. Another thing is sealed containers on merchants. So why was this important?
Yeah. This is a big one.
What are you going to do with it?
At this point, if you, it has to do with the fact that when you put stuff in your inventory that are food items, they decay really fast. If you put those food items on a merchant, it decays in the exact same way because it's in the inventory of the merchant. And this also goes for like milk and liquids like this. And also, I don't think that there's a way to put like a full barrel of milk or something like that, or oil, onto a merchant currently. But now they'll allow you to seal a barrel, which effectively keeps the quality of the item and it doesn't decay at all. And you can put that onto a merchant and sell it. So this is going to open up a whole bunch of stuff that people can sell that they couldn't otherwise. I mean, it's one step towards allowing all food items
Is this something
to
that
be sold on merchants. I mean,
that you would definitely be using?
I'm not sure. I might be purchasing items off of merchants. I don't produce items that would be, that people would
Maybe
buy
that's
that are
something
sealed.
that
Like I
we'll
don't.
have to look into later.
Right, but
So here's a question.
I know that I'm going to get into cooking soon at some point, and
You've always wanted
I'm going to need a lot of. I know, I've always wanted to. I have the skill, I just need to do it. And I know that I've dabbled in it, and I know one thing that is a huge pain is the oil. It would be just nice to purchase that from other people as opposed to have to make it my own.
So I feel like we're gonna need a sign here.
Okay.
Right?
Do you have
And
signs?
Then right here, I would
Okay.
assume.
Okay. And turn it.
Yeah, you have the ability to like. Oh, what should we say on these? I want to put one here just for fun.
What I'd like to see is food items as well, like, these affinity pizzas or whatever, those items being sold on merchants. It's currently the way it is, they decay like right away. Probably
Maybe
need to
something
put one
like
right
this.
here.
Yeah.
As well.
So how's that?
Yeah, that's good.
So now it's more about I don't know. I might make it fun. Make it sound like it's the king taunting them out. Something like that. I'll figure it out later. But emergency exits are in place.
Yeah.
That's always good.
And it's somebody who's in here right now would be able to get out. It's like they don't.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, that's good. This door is unlocked here. It has no lock. Good.
So let's talk about the big one. There was a whole big hoopla about the way that affinities work.
A hullabaloo.
Yeah, a whole big hullabaloo about affinities changing the way that they work.
I don't think it was about changing. It started with somebody questioning whether or not it was against the rules to take an alt, or if you're on chaos, to take an alt to chaos and kill them to farm their affinities.
And what were they saying? Was there a problem?
Well, they were saying that they were under the impression that it was against the rules, and yet they knew lots of people were doing it. And I know lots of people were doing it. I mean, people were on the forums like selling their affinities. And it's just like it was completely out in the open. It wasn't, and I don't think there was anything officially said that it's against the rules to do that. I think it was just back channel things, like it's like sort of meta gaming, and the devs might have said that it was against the intention of the development of the game to do that. But
while we talk about this, let's bring some lamps and
okay,
see if we can go into the mine.
Should be a whole bunch of lamps.
Yeah, we'll take some into our inventory and we'll just run down there.
And I filled them all up. Should we not go in the back way?
Yeah, we'll go in the back way.
Okay. Wait, stop for just a second so I can just jump on the back.
So here the question is, okay, they made a change.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Did they make a change though? Did they make it yet?
They didn't. They announced that they're making a change. So the question is, did they was there a need for this change to begin with?
Well, if if it was against the intention.
Was there a problem?
I mean, the problem is that people are farming affinities that, with enough resources and with enough
Now,
even in-game coin, you could just rack up the amount of affinities however much that you want.
like you said, I mean, we already knew that was happening, so...
Right. And again, it has to do, I think, with the fact that the devs never intended for it to happen or never wanted it to happen. One or the other.
And now they just gotten around to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
like some light has been shed on it, sort of.
Right. It happens the same way every single time. It's like light gets shed on it, and they start talking about it, thinking about it, questioning. Is it something that needs to be changed? And I guess they all agreed that it was something that needs to be changed. I mean, it seems obvious that it needed to be changed. It seemed like a way that people can game the system to get a whole bunch of affinities. And it obviously would be more beneficial if there was a mechanic in the game, a system in the game that was more, I don't know. I guess that prevented this meta gaming of the system and just allowed for a more natural system for people to gain affinities.
All right. So what exactly are they going to change?
It seems as though they're going to be getting rid of... Sorry, they're not getting rid of, but what they're doing is they're going to make it so that it's going to be harder to get affinities from killing people. So, I'll be honest, I'm looking through this stuff, and it's like I don't know if it's going to get rid of affinity farming all that much, but it might. I'm just not 100% sure exactly how it works, but
So the way that it used to work is what? You kill someone and you 100% get their affinity if you kill them.
Right. If they have an affinity and if their fight skill was over 20, I think, and you were on KS and you killed them, I think you automatically gain their affinity.
Okay. So now they're wanting to make it...
Yeah, so that if you overkill a single character, so if you're going and you're killing one person over and over and over, then I don't know. Okay, I'll read it out. So it says, firstly, with overkills on a single character being taken into account rather than just the number of kills on that character from a specific other character, and secondly, with tweaking how existing overkill timers work. So to me, that means nothing. I don't understand what it means. Maybe they'll be more clear. It says that they're going to explain in an update later, but somehow overkilling mechanics in PvP is going to be changed. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what overkilling, but I can only imagine that means killing one person over and over. The other thing that they're going to change that seems a little bit more clear is that depending on what affinities you have, there's going to be a decreased chance of actually transferring an affinity by killing somebody. So let's say you have already 2 affinities in blacksmithing. You can have up to 5, but let's say you have 2. Then you're going to have a less of a chance that killing somebody with a blacksmithing affinity is going to give you that affinity. Like the way I imagine it might work, and they haven't released any numbers, so we don't know for sure. But let's suppose if you had no affinities in that particular skill, it would be 100% chance that if you killed somebody with that skill, you get that affinity, you get it. But if you had one affinity, it might be an 80% chance. You kill them, and it's like you may get it or you may not. And if you had 2 affinities, it would be a 60% chance. So the more affinities you have in that skill, the harder it will be to get another affinity, which kind of makes sense to me. I don't see how that, though, is going to reduce affinity farming, though. You know what I mean?
People killing.
Yeah. Okay. You
I'm
can
not
still
sure.
farm affinities by that. So I'm guessing the overkill thing that they're talking about here is something they're going to, but they haven't revealed exactly how they're going to change that. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I would say, wouldn't it make more sense that if you're trying to kill somebody over and over again, like, doesn't it take a specific amount of time before that same person gets another affinity? It's like 24 hours or something? Or longer?
No. Sorry, say that again. Doesn't it take...
Does it take a specific amount of time before a person that lost their affinity to get another one?
Oh, yeah. It's actually a month almost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So, really then, you can't just kill somebody over and over again to get an affinity.
Right.
What is this stopping? What was the problem, I guess?
I think the problem was that people were just premiuming up a ton of alts. Like, what they would do is they would have, let's say, 30, 40 alts in their, have access to 30 or 40 alts, and every month they would just give premium to every single one of them, kill them all, take all their affinities. They get 30 affinities that month, and then they wait another month, and then just do it all over again. So every month they're getting 30 more affinities or something like that. Now, granted, it means that they had to pay money.
Yep.
But there's been a recent change in how you can premium. So I think there was like, you can now pay 5 silver at the token and get half a month. I think they added that, if I'm not mistaken. So now it became cheap. Like, with that change, it became cheaper to do this and more efficient. So you would now only have to pay 5 silver per affinity, whereas before it would have been 10. And that's like in the affordable range.
That is true. Just like crazy side effects, it seems.
Yeah.
Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down... How much mortar? Is it 10 mortar? Do we even have 10 more mortar? Let's see. We do. We have lots.
Should we put 1 lamp in each of these buildings or something?
Give it a try. Ooh, I am carrying way too much stuff now. Then the sense is, okay, so... Do we understand, like... We don't really understand why they're making this change.
Well, they want to...
In the sense that it doesn't seem to solve the problem that we've brought up.
Right. It seems as though they haven't fully given us all the information about what is going to get changed.
Other than this would make it less likely that they're 100% going to get something for that money invested, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
That'd
but
be
again,
the only real change.
As I keep saying, my feeling is that they haven't explained fully what they're going to change. That there's a change that's going to happen that's going to prevent people from wanting to kill their alts. They just haven't said what it is.
Right.
I can read it again to you exactly what was written there. It means nothing to me in terms of like what they're actually going to do.
So
they'll also be making changes, but something's going to be taken into account. But we don't know what.
Out of all these things that happened in the past year, all the updates, all the announcements that they've made so far that we know are coming to the game, things are coming to the game. Mm-hmm. What is it that you would need
before we get to that,
okay.
I don't think we're done with the affinities, because
there
is one more thing they're doing with the affinities that it's like really kind of interesting, and that is there's going to be a PvE way of gaining affinities.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just surprised, and I mean it's gonna make it so that we will be able to get more affinities.
Yes.
I like the fact that they are going to make it so that you gain them by using skills. So let's say you're blacksmithing away and you're getting your skill up, blacksmithing, that there's a slight chance that you will gain an affinity in blacksmithing because you've been blacksmithing so much, for example. I really like that.
Oh, I took a bunch of torch lamps.
What I'm not sure about is the fact that I already have really high blacksmithing, whether or not that means that I'm not going to get an affinity in it. But it kind of makes sense. Like, in a skill that I want to get up, just
Why
by
would you need it?
work,
So much,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah. I have lots of other skills that I want to work on, and it would be great if I got affinities in those. Yeah, I think it just adds an extra thing for PvEers, and it's good that that's happening. What do you think about it?
I feel like maybe people were grouping the whole affinity change with PvP and PvE, but the fact that they announced it at the same time, I think it might have not gotten the best rap that it could have. I think that they're completely different than one another. The whole PvP affinity change and the fact that they're adding PvE affinity change. I don't know how I would feel if I was strictly a PvPer.
Right. And I think they're really kind of upset at it.
The first thought in my head is, does this make PvP? Is this one less thing that's unique to PvP?
I mean, I don't think that it's less unique in the sense that you still can get affinities from killing people, and it's going to be extremely rare to gain affinities by crafting. So you're just like saying it's one less thing that PvPers have that PvEers don't.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say about that is I feel like there should be more equality in what everybody gets anyway. You know, like the game should be working towards fixing it up so that there isn't this divide between PvEers and PvPers.
As a PvE player, I definitely love this idea. That we need more variety, obviously. The affinity system has been in the game for so long that I think it's probably about time that some PvE a way of getting them happens. I don't really know how they're going to do it. If it's going to be, did they say it's going to be another kind of random act?
I think it's a random act in the sense that you're just crafting away and all of a sudden, boom, you get
Well,
an
the random
affinity.
act would be the easiest thing they could do.
Yeah.
But I feel like they also need to do some kind of... I would have loved for them to do an entire system for players to work towards. That makes sense.
I agree.
Something we can work, something you can... It's not just...
Random.
It's like we don't need another random system into this game, right? We don't need another thing
like
that...
the rarity system.
Yeah. You never sit there and go, okay, today I'm going to work at getting this
Some people
many
do.
rarities. And yeah, we've talked about it before, and some people do. But it's not fun to do it because you're not... Like, it's like playing the lottery. You're just kind of sitting there and hoping. You're not... There's no goal. There's nothing that you're working towards that you can see incremental changes.
Right.
The affinity system, I think that would have been perfect if they added that to some kind of alternate advancement system, character system.
Right.
That would allow you to work towards specific affinities and over time allow you to gain the ones that you want. right? Imagine
Yeah.
that we're working towards something that allows us to gain points or something that we can use towards these affinities.
Right. If they
And
want to make it so that if you are working on a skill that you have a chance of getting an affinity, instead, if you're working on a skill and you get so far, you gain an affinity in it, sort of thing.
they could have done something, right? So I think that I like the idea, but we need more systems that we can actually, like in a PvE environment, utilize so that we can gain these affinities in a more natural PvE type of way. Less lottery, more I don't know, game enhancing features. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
There's
the
a
wrong
lot
way
of
saying it.
lottery going on in this game for sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but I like that they're adding it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great thing to add. And in saying that, let's do our last thing here. So I think that I'm pretty comfortable with the lighting situation down here.
Yep.
So we need to
I'm
close
finding,
off
I'm not sure why, but I can't plant anything that's not in a
outside.
building. But I was able to do it upstairs, so I have no idea what's going on here.
That's a little weird. Did you want to plant anything?
Nah, I was going to plant one, but I thought it doesn't really need to be.
Okay, you want to
Just
pick up a couple of these so that I can walk?
Which? Oh, yeah, sure.
See how many I need to drop before I can walk. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
So, question. We
Okay,
need
so last
to get rid of something. Is it this one? I can't remember. Let's go and find out.
It's not this one, but it's in this direction. Are we getting rid of it now?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's this one right here.
So the question is, how do we get rid of it? Do we... So this here is not supposed to be. This is allows us to get in and out of this place.
Yeah, this was
so
our initial...
My guess is
drop.
we have to go up. And then we have to destroy this one. And then build the wall, and then destroy underneath it.
What do you mean build the wall?
Sorry, not the wall, but the
floor.
floor.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I mean, we could destroy the ones underneath it. Oh no, we can't. We can't destroy the ones underneath it because we need them to build to plan the floor.
That is correct.
Yeah, and then we can go around.
No, we can stay under here, destroy, and then go around to get out.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. Okay, so while we're doing that,
as well.
I've got 10 pottery and mortar.
Oh, okay.
It's good enough,
Okay.
right?
So let me get my carving knife out here. Let me destroy this.
No, I'll just destroy it with the large model. Do you want to stay up there, or do you want to come down here? Do you want to help destroy, or do you want to...
Yeah, okay, I'll come down. Yeah.
All right. So I'll start this.
Yeah, okay.
It's been... So there's been a lot of stuff that came out last year, and they've announced a lot of stuff for this year so far. And I'm sure there's more to come. What would you be sad about if it did not come out into Wurm this year? We got to the end of 2018 and you're like, well, they said that they were gonna have this and we don't have this now. And you'd be like,
how many times have that happened?
so angry. What feature do they need to add to the game this year?
I feel that the feature that they have to add is animal crates. They've been said to be coming for so long, and it's already been delayed. It's already been pushed to 2018, and they've already announced it's like one of the things that we're working on. If we get to the end of 2018 and it's not in, I think that would make me very sad.
You know, it'd be really funny. What happens if we get to the end of this year and we still cannot dig to a pile?
Then we'll have 2 retrograde quotes that we can quote.
Oh, that'd be so hilarious. So the thing that I would love to see, that I think, I feel like this is the feature they need to add this year. They have to add the new UI system.
Yes.
They have to add it, even though I don't know if it's close. I don't know if
It's
like. Okay, here's the thing. They've talked about a bunch of stuff that's they want to add this year, but they did not talk about. Can I destroy from this one?
I think I'm gonna...
They did not talk about that big feature. Are you destroying the one up there?
Up there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I don't fall when you destroy this one.
Just come down really fast. So they didn't talk about that big new feature that they're going to add this year. There's like nothing has been, you know, they're going to add the new wood textures, and that looks like they're starting to put that together.
Right, like last year they announced the new rendering system. Like that was the new big thing. And also, you know, there have been big things such as the highway system and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so what's going to happen this year?
Yeah, they haven't yet announced the big thing.
Now, the thing is, they've already announced UI.
Right.
How many months ago? I don't even know if it's been over a year since they've just kind of brought it up.
So we've discussed that we agree that the UI is going to be the biggest thing that they could do that would get people to try the game.
Yes.
You know, and get people into this game, because the UI is currently...
I think that's what they have to do. And it's saying that, I don't know, let us know what you guys think that they would need to add before this year's out.
Mm-hmm.
Or else you'd be extremely, extremely sad. That pretty much wraps up our mine, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think about this?
I've thought about this before, and I thought, you know, I ended up thinking I'll just keep it the way it is. But like the only thing I can think that we could do is make the floor not an opening here.
You would have to open up. You'd have to rebuild all that from the bottom, I think.
But this needs to be a ladder going up. We wouldn't have to redo... Oh, I see. You'd have to rebuild everything from the bottom, yeah. So, yeah. I ended up thinking I'll just keep it. Because what's nice is that it doesn't allow you to climb down. If you try to climb down, it says
right.
You can't climb down there. So it would only be for the looks.
You can come up. I wonder if they're going to be able to make it so there's just a climb button that will do both climb up and climb down.
Yeah.
Just combine
it seems
them.
like I have to have 2 hotkeys.
That would make sense.
Up and one for climbing
I'm hoping
down.
the new UI system can deal with some of this type of stuff, and it changes the way that we not only interact with the menus, but that it changes the way we interact with the game itself.
Right,
That's
like
what I'm
something
hoping
where
for.
Instead of a climb button, there should be like an action button that does everything. Like one action button where I click on the ladder and it knows that I want to climb up, because it's the only thing that there is for you to do.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that it's about time that we get some people into the Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
We are very close. Wow, there's really not that much left to do other than some furniture stuff and the story. We're gone through this quite a bit, and then maybe some lamps in the first half of the Labyrinth. But
yeah,
it's another week. Another week we'll be able to tackle that. And God, I think let's see if we can get some people in here and take a look. And let's get Adam through the rest of the Labyrinth.
Now that we destroyed our backdoor entrance.
I don't know. We'll figure out a way out. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, everyone.